Hey, well, welcome, or welcome back. Yeah, the last stream got interrupted because I plugged the power cord in, and the battery died. The battery lower power signal came on, and before I could plug the cord in, she locked up. So my bad. Anyways, we're back. We got to talk about some of this stuff. Oh goodness! All right. I might have to. This thing, I got to deal with this. Sorry. All right. It should be good for a day or two now. That's smoke alarm. I think it needs a battery. All right. So I started out talking about how I think these truckies are getting tricked in Canada because they're getting led to this group that's going to give them these notices of liability for this and a notice of liability for that and all this stuff, and then take them right into the judicial system that is the enemy. And these truckers are petitioning the enemy. We need law and order. We're going to get that from our sheriffs once our sheriffs in line. Now, there are some good sheriffs out there, but they're trapped. And every one of them is working with the enemy, the county prosecuting attorney, British agent. Sheriff spending most of his time in the administrative process, trespassing upon you in collusion with the enemy. That's how dumbed down we have gotten. That's how much black magic these British agents have put on us. So, in over there in Canada, they're going to lead them into the enemy, and you can only collect once. And from our state's constitution here in America, this is law. No law shall be enacted in this state. What state? It doesn't matter. This is Arizona. It don't matter, because if you got it in one state, you got it in another. You can't have a right in this state you don't have in another state. No law shall be enacted in this state limiting the amount of damages to be recovered for causing the death or injury of any person. Death or injury of any person. All right, so how about we take a look at the word injury in online etymology? Injury is a noun. Harm, damage, loss, a specific injury. From Anglo-French, injure, wrongful action. From Latin, injura, wrong, and injustice, insult, unlawful violence, assault, damage, harm. Noun, use of fem in of injurious, wrongful, unjust, unlawful. Form in not opposite of, see genitive, lurist, right, law. See jurist. Ah, interesting. All right. What about injurious as an adjective? Abuse, from Old French, injurious, unjust, harmful. 14th century, oh, so that was 15th century. 14th century, modern French, injurix. Directly from Latin, injurious, unlawful, acting unjustly, wrongful, harmful, from injuria, unjust, unlawful violence, insult. See, injury. We just came from injury. All right. How about injure, injure, as a verb? Doing injustice to, dishonor, probably a back formation from injury, or else from Old French, injure, to damage, offend, from Latin, injura, do an injury. From injura, injury itself also served as a verb meaning to injure, hurt, harm, related, injured, injuring. All right. Hurt is a verb. To injure, wound, the body, feelings, reputation, etc. Also to stumble, unto, bump unto, charge against, rush, crash into, knock things together. From Old French, herder, to ram, strike, collide with. Modern French, herter, a word of uncertain origin, perhaps from Frankish hurt, ram. Source, also a Middle High German hurten, run at, collide. Old Norse, hertra, ram. So, you see, by law, there's no limit. The law shall be enacted in this state. No law shall be enacted in this state limiting the amount of damages to be recovered for causing the death or injury of any person. Now, these trespasses are adding up. This is really a sin that this goes on. Now, I've been getting some feedback. I want for everything. All right. I want to thank you for watching, for subscribing, for commenting, for thumbs upping, for sending me information, for asking me questions, from donating and supporting. Much love. I am just so happy to see all this cooperation and inspiration and education. Now we got to get it shared. We got to get it shared because so much energy is being wasted. How many people sent Mookie $50, their family tree, their birth certificate, and a bunch of other information for a national ID that's not going to do anything to get your government under control? How many people are out there chasing surety bonds that's not going to do anything to get your government under control? How many of you are chasing your QSIP account so you can access your account, exchange notes? How many of you people are forming assemblies or have formed assemblies? And what's it got you? Has any of it got your servants under control? I'm going to say no, it has not. Why? Because you don't have law enforcement. Because these sheriffs, along with the rest of us, have been that dumbed down, that brainwashed. And so these sheriffs are spending the majority of their time working with a British agent, otherwise known as the county prosecutor, to trespass upon you. So we're going to educate them. The Constitutional Accountability Committee is going to go. as soon as we got the money. All right. So I think these truckies are getting trapped. They're out there petitioning the enemy. And the enemy is setting traps. They're trying to institute violence. And you got this group set up there with these notices of liability and all this complicated stuff. It all sounds real good, and it's all there for the truckies. Great big sign. Come on, go straight to hell with us. We're going to take you right into that judicial system, next judicial system. I'll take a look at the comments real quick here. David Armstrong contacted my sheriff today, and he didn't want to talk to me and asked secretary to get an appointment, and she said she couldn't. Yeah, right. Well, that's why you got to go, just march right on in there with your Americans Notice of Liability in their lobby, under their audio, their video. And you demand. I did. They told me the sheriff was busy all day. Had appointments all day. I said, fine, I'll just sit here and wait. If he gets a little break, he can come out and spend a minute in my hand, say hello. Oh no, that's not the way it works. I said, yes, it is. And I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And then I demanded. And then who else can I talk with? Who's next in line? Who can I talk with? I'm going to talk with somebody. Eventually, they brought the jail sergeant out, but told me he was the undersheriff. I didn't get that figured out till a day or two later. But anyways, that's what you got to do. All right? You're the boss. We pay their stinking salary. We elected them to do a job, to protect our rights. And they're doing nothing but trampling on our rights, and they're doing it with the enemy. Now, they don't have any power that we don't have. We have arresting power. So we've got 2 sheriff's departments here in Michigan in open court of record where the sheriff and undersheriff agreed to charge of treason. So the constitutional accountability is going to visit those 2 as well, but they're going to have different paperwork. They're going to have those sheriffs and undersheriffs court cases, and they're going to get posted along with wanted posters, dead or alive, for that sheriff and undersheriff. And there's going to be notice given to all those employees in there that your sheriff and undersheriff agree to charge of treason in open court of record. And anybody giving aid and comfort to a treasonous rat is subject to the consequences. And we suggest that you leave by the end of the day. And we'll leave those sheriffs and undersheriffs in there, and they can just crap their pants as we form our assemblies and our grand juries. Because that's going to happen all over this state. Because we're going to be posting assembly join up, grand jury pool sign up in every one of these sheriff's lobbies, all 83 of them. I'm also going to be giving an executive order to all the municipalities to send a mailing to everybody in their jurisdiction about the assemblies and the grand jury pools forming and how they can participate. I'm expanding the jurisdiction of every sheriff statewide. If you're on the far end of the Upper Peninsula, you can still go down as a governor. And sheriffs, if you got our back, we got your back. You need deputies, you got them. You need 100 deputies, you got them. 500 deputies, you got them. 1,000 deputies, you got them. You need all the other sheriff's departments and their 1,000 deputies to come with you, you got it. If you don't have our back, we're coming for yours. And that's all there is to it. To know treason and not call it out is treason. To be trespassing upon your fellow man and working with the enemy is treason. Ignorance is no excuse. And every man's worthy of redemption. And this shit's got to end. And by God, we're going to end it. So there's a lot that's going on. I'm gonna try and work my little device here and see if I can't get to something I want to talk about, because there's been some interesting things that have come across my way. And some of it has been in private message, and some of it has been in the chat, in the citizen scientist oral health community chat. And so one of the things that came across my way was from an individual who is part of an assembly and says, I understand what you mean about law enforcement. See, people, they get their assemblies formed and there's no law enforcement. That's you, Sheriff. You're the law enforcement, not a policy officer, not a bylaw officer. But you conspire with them too. Yeah, you're all working with the enemy. And you all go to the enemy for advice. Why don't you look at your Constitution? The thing you swore an oath to? Another thing, social compact. There's this story going around. There's a book getting read. There's YouTube videos and I don't know what else about how we don't have a social compact. There is no government, blah, blah. Look, your state constitution is a social compact. I had something. I did have that. I'm going to take a look. I got something else pulled up here, but I want to see if I can just find that, because I had that pulled up here and I might have to jump back into the gallery. Where is it? Oh, maybe. No, it's not it. Oh, I know where it should be. Should be DuckDuckGo. Where's you at, DuckDuckGo? Right here. Let's get weather. Okay. All right. I was there with the entomology. I got to go to the other window. Nope, I've lost it. Well, all right. It was on the social compact. I'll have to do that in a continuation or another talk. But this was sent to me. This is really interesting. And this is quite a read. Birth certificate fraud. And there's some words here it's hard for me to pronounce. Calcula rebus sic santibus by Kate of KAEA. Attention, lawyer, judge, government agent, employee, police, common man, etc. And then there's a lot where words are not space, but there's a slash where they're all grouped together. So grouped together, government agent, employee, and then the police, common man, etc. Then ET, and then AL slash any slash all who serve as fictional legal name titled ID dash entity, pronounced phonetically, example, and then in quotes, league, LEG hyphen ALL, enemy, end of quote. Then in brackets, it's N, I think it's hyphen, that slash, AM hyphen E. That spells name if you put it all together. But when you put it that way, NME, name. What's it mean to the bar? Enemy. NME. And then in quotes, TIT hyphen LE. Luciferian character in the legal world reality. Author's note, where the author, that author's in quotes. This is posted in the Citizen Scientist Oral Health chat. So you can all read it, because I'm not the best reader. Author's note, where the author is defined as anyone who uses these words as theirs, where truth cannot be copyrighted, merely shared by agreement, and these words are theirs, regardless of who wrote the words, ab in ito, INITIO, where truth belongs to all conceptual, and then in brackets, heart and mind written, casual, not the physical, written form, effectual. Where this writing, that's WRITING / writing, RIGHTING / writing, RITING, is written, spelled out in language understandable to both those in and out of the legal name fraud, profession / reality, where the common understanding of this fraud and crime against humanity and creation is visible both in layman's and legal terms, not to be confused by the intent of the reader, where the authors, and in brackets, the intentions thereof / therein, out of brackets, intentions are crystal clear, i.e., legal word / world, wranglers of twist of hearings, that's in quotations, all capitalized, where it is spelled out henceforth / herein, with all potentials of phonetics, deceptions, hereby and therefore removed, ad infirmitum. For example, a phonetic description is where one thing is spoken by a non-bar member, general, and in brackets, general public / any / all legal name users without bar affiliations, permissions, only to be respelled differently by any / all bar members under assumption and presumption to corrupt the original intent of the one speaking versus spelling it out, and why a fraudulent by deliberate design legal name non-bar member has no voice in the legal dead reality. In other words, spoken cannot be altered from the speaker's original true intent as to what they mean versus what one hearing the spoken form of the word hears, and then corrupts them and their spoken words by using alternative spellings under assumption / presumption of the same sound homonyms with completely different definitions, using the spelling trickery to undo them and gain the honor advantage where no honor in them exists. And the non-bar member is rendered in a state of perpetual dishonor unknowingly, i.e. twist them. The non-bar member speaking their spoken words, spoken backwards around, / opposes, / negates, / corrupts the speaker's original intent to initiate the perpetuated / instigate fraud against them to enable imaginary crimes to profit from statutory commercial rape / kidnapping, etc. Thus, why court proceedings, that's in quotes, PRO hyphen seedings, are called hearings, where spellings is a more precise term for what is really going on. Thus, this is spelling it out clearly, where assumption and presumption is rendered null and void, where any / all use / claiming to be a legal name entity has everyone in the original sin / sign, SIGN, state of fraud from the creation of and continued use of the legal name that appears on every birth certificate until they remove themselves from the criminal legal reality, where anyone involved in the enforcement of this fraud using violence, trickery, coercion, etc., at all to ensnare with intent to enslave another is, in fact, aiding and abetting a criminal act by forcing another into submission to its use where the truth has been exposed and where it is illegal to use any / all legal names, titles, ab initio. A typical courtroom drama example, unwitting legal name, defend, and then, deafened, a defendant, yeah, okay, but it's legal name, and then it's deaf and hyphen ENT, deafened, int, mind, and then in quotes, I do not consent, spoken with the intent of no wish to consent, intended where the bar member, aka judge, lawyer, cop, etc., can and will assume / presume in full / fool honor the words phonetically as to how they want to hear it, and has respelled the verbal for all, AYE, DUE, KNOT, CON hyphen SE hyphen ENT, where AYE means yes, affirmative, and tactical agreement instantly, DUE as in debt, tactical agreement, KNOT as in tied, and BO, capital BO hyphen capital U, capital ND, tactical agreement to slavery, and con hyphen means both with and against, without, equally, as prefix also means thief of criminal in common vernacular terms, etc. And this thing goes on. So it's there in the chat for you to read. This, in a very long way, is telling you that the bar member is enemy of the people. And anytime anybody has a problem, oh, you need an attorney. That's how dumbed down, brainwashed we have all been. We have been MK Ultra'd from the time we were born, from our first breath. Just like our parents and our grandparents. This started in the late 1800s. This didn't just happen overnight. Now, your answer to your freedom with liberty and franchise is with the sheriff. And that's one man in the county. And you can hold court without a building, without a judge, and without a jury. And you do it with notary, jure, and proper service. Yet, to get justice, you need law enforcement to make the arrest, and you need the judges, the 12 in the jury. The 12 judges are the jury. The man behind the bench is there for order of the court. The jury needs to hear the testimony and give sentencing and restitution. So since we don't have many assemblies, your grand juries and your assemblies are going to come from your sheriff. Like in my situation, I need sheriff to be making arrests for those that have pled guilty to treason in an open court of record. When the sheriff makes that arrest, then that individual needs to go in front of jury to be sentenced and to make a determination on restitution. What or who is going to pay and how much. All these truckies are just going to complain to the enemy. And when they get there, there's a trap set for them. Get this paperwork, do this, do that, get this notice of liability. All notice of liabilities and affidavits are not created equal. The notice of liability, the Americans Notice of Liability, is a very powerful document. You come into court right off the get. That sets your status, your standing, and your jurisdiction. There's no need to claim your identity, reclaim your identity, get a national ID, or anything else. Your state constitution is your trust indenture. You got the best trust you could ever want. Simply own it. It's a maximum law. You can give up your rights. They assume and presume you right into that. And they've dumbed down the education system to where everybody is just that MK Ultra'd. So you're all living in fear, chasing your tail, and the bar sucking up your money. The client might go to prison, but the attorney always goes to lunch. Well, we're going to end that. These are British agents. They are enemies of the people. Treason is treason. To not call it out is treason. For a man not to know his everyday job is a deceit. And Sheriff Mack is a gatekeeper. All you constitutional sheriffs that are looking to Sheriff Mack for clarification, you're talking to the enemy. So it's time to wake up. So we're going to be waking you up. We got more and more people serving their sheriffs. I'm going to take a look at the comments here. Yeah, that's right, Susan. You serve the sheriff in their lobby. You record it yourself, but it's getting recorded on their audio video. And so you can do a FOIA request for that. That's all evidence. It's undeniable. Yeah, you're right, Josh. The sheriff refuses to talk with you. That is maladministration. So we got to hold them accountable. How would you like to go take your car to an auto mechanic and find out that you got a gardener working on your car? How would you like to go in for brain surgery and find out you got a welder doing your brain surgery? I mean, come on. For a man not to know his everyday job is a deceit. Now, the sheriff stands alone. One man. And we got elections coming up. This time, now is the time, right now. None of these sheriffs are holding their seat lawfully. Every one of them can be removed from their seat because they're all working with the enemy, British agents. Now, the Constitutional Accountability Committee is going to be delivering an executive order. Part of that executive order is to shut down those administrative courts, turn them into superior courts, the people's court. So we got to get the message to the truckies in America to get that Americans Notice of Liability. Keep the original and make copies. And Gloria made a comment the other night that she wanted to get it in the paper. That's an awesome idea. Anybody that can get that out there published, get it mainstream, because no one's talking about this. I don't know of any other constitutional teacher, activist that's promoting dealing with your sheriff. If there is, I want to know about him. I do, because we got to get together. We could have a good Zoom call. Anybody knows a sheriff that wants to talk? Send them my way. We'll set up a Zoom talk. Oh, I got to thank the people in law enforcement that have come out and put out videos. There's two out of Canada and a veteran. And then Mike Chappelle. He's a sheriff. He's running for governor in New York. And I hope he's a good man. That YouTube video, he's in there representing himself as one of the people. He lets it known he's a sheriff. He can be right back there representing we the people as a sheriff. And that's what we need. We need law enforcement from our law enforcers. Oh, what else? What else do we want to say? You have a right to restitution. That's a constitutional provision. You got a right to the courts. No person shall be deprived the right to prosecute or defend either in person or by an attorney that person's own cause in any of the courts of this state. I'm glad I read that, because that triggered my mind. I ran across something, a statistic here recently, that kind of blew my mind. And that is that about half the attorneys are not bar members. And I thought, wow, how could that be? And I started thinking, well, there's probably a lot of business attorneys that they never have any reason to be in court. They're just document producers. All that administrative court stuff, that is done by bar attorneys, because if you don't have a bar card, you're not in there, except in Arizona. Because of what happened in Arizona, you do not have to be a bar card member to practice in the assumption, presumption, clown world courts. That domino didn't do much, but it did fall in Arizona. So if we got that many attorneys that are not bar members, how come they're not speaking up? How come they're not telling you about your constitutional rights? How come they're not telling you how to own your status, your standing, and your jurisdiction and hold your servants accountable? We need law enforcement. You can run for sheriff. Anybody can run for sheriff. There's a lot of good men that want to run for sheriff. I know it. And there's a lot of good men to be happy to be deputized when the time arises. Because you got a lot of people doing a lot of things, forming assemblies, giving money and information to Mookie for national ID, surety bonds, protests, marches, notices, phone calls, emails. Your sheriff stands alone, all alone. That's why he won't answer your call, David, because he's spineless. Or he is truly the enemy. And some of these sheriffs are. Some of them are. All right. So, one of the people in the messaged me about the notice of liability and asked about doing it de jure. How to do it de jure. You just do it. That's de jure. It's lawful. So when you hear people talking about they want a de jure court, they want a de jure government, that means a lawful government. That means a lawful court. That means law and order. So your Americans Notice of Liability is de jure, baby. It is. It's lawful. It's powerful. You take that and you serve it on your sheriff. You give your sheriff a little constitutional education while you're at it. And then you order the sheriff to contact all the bylaw police, that state police, city police, village police, township police, private police, fake police. It's over. Road piracy is ended. Shut down these administrative courts. Stop trespassing on the people. Or we're going to hold you accountable, Sheriff. And the Constitutional Accountability Committee is going to be doing a lot more than that. They're going to be putting all these sheriffs in the people's court, because I've created a court case for the remaining 81 sheriffs and undersheriffs in the state of Michigan. It's facilitated. notary, jure, seal, stamp, signature. We need service. Constitutional Accountability Committee and the People's Bureau of Investigation are going to facilitate that for us. There's a lot of printing that needs to be done. There's traveling that needs to be done. There's work that needs to be done. We're looking to raise $50,000 to get it done. We got to make 2 trips minimum just to get this started. We get them served. We get everything posted. That's going to get all be recorded, audio, video. And then we'll be having the assemblies and the juries forming all over the state. And then the constitutional accountability is going to come back. And they're going to find out, are those administrative courts shut down? Is the sheriff still conspiring with the prosecuting attorney? Has road piracy ended? Or is that sheriff trespassing? And if he is, well, we're going to know it before they get back. They'll be putting up wanted posters, dead or alive, for that sheriff and undersheriff in that sheriff's lobby. And they'll be noticing everybody of the court case because they'll be posting it in their lobby. And they're going to tell everyone that's working there, your sheriff and undersheriff agreed to charge of treason. And anybody giving aid and comfort to a treasonous rat is subject to the consequences. We're advising you to stop it. You are noticed. So it's just that simple. We're doing this de jure, lawfully, powerfully, and peacefully. We will have law enforcement. And they're going to need deputies. They are. All right. I love y'all. Let these truckers know in Canada they're getting tricked. Let these truckers know in America they need Americans Notice of Liability that's available on the website. And I also started sharing it on social media. So it's moving out from my chat channel. So share it, talk about it. Get on the CB. Any of you guys got a CB? Dust it off, plug it in, and start talking with these truckers. Anybody knows anybody's got a platform? Talk about it. Share, subscribe, make comments. If you got a buck, send it over. All right, everybody. If you got questions, send them over. If you got information, send it over. I'd really like to know how many attorneys we got in this country that are not bar members versus bar members. And how come they're not helping us people? I want to know. Anyways, that's it. Peace. Much love. We'll be back soon.